Welcome to Fun and Learn with Pauline Joseph. Today, we're going to hear a story, The Wrong House. Today, with the help of science and technology, we have produced tools that help us fight crime. Let's identify some of those devices and its use. We fight crime on a day-to-day basis. With its help, these devices and technology help us to keep the world relatively safer. They help us lead a normal life. Some tools and their usage. As you can see, a lie detector checks whether a person is telling the truth or not. Computer records prevent crime and also help the police to identify the criminals. DNA testing finds and names a person with the help of information got from body cells. CCTV cameras show proof of a criminal's activities. There are many other tools which are used in science and technology for the same. Now let's read the story. Two men ran quietly towards the house. One of them carried a small suitcase. When they reached the porch, they stopped and listened. The night was dark and silent. One of the men took out a bunch of keys. They entered. By the light of the torch, they examined the room. It was a large living room. The furniture was covered. Dust lay over everything. One of the men spoke.
Well, Blackie,
He said.
looks as if the family is away on a holiday.
They searched the house. There was no doubt the family was away. Hasty Hogan and Blackie Burns were in luck. Only once in the past 10 days had their luck failed them. It had been soon after they made their big robbery in that town on the coast. Blackie, who had been driving the car, ran over a policeman. They had abandoned the car and run for their lives. And now they were there in a strange town without a car. But they had the suitcase and the $300,000 in it,
We have to get a car.
said Hogan.
We can't steal one. It's too dangerous. We have to buy one.
But what are we going to do with the suitcase?
Said Burns.
Hide it right here until we get a car.
And so they hid the suitcase. They carried it down to the coal cellar and buried it in the pile of coal. Just before dawn, they stepped out.
Say, Blackie,
Hogan remarked.
the name of the gentleman we are visiting is Mr. Samuel W. Rogers.
Shortly after the automobile showroom opened, Hogan and Burns had their car. They stopped the car a short distance from the house. Hogan got out and walked towards the house. 50 yards from the house, he stopped. The windows were open. The family returned. Hogan thought quickly.
Quick,
He said to Burns.
let's find a telephone.
10 minutes later, Hogan was consulting a telephone directory. Yes, there it was. Samuel W. Rogers. Plainview 6329. A minute later, he was talking to Mr. Rogers.
Hello, is this Mr. Rogers? Mr. Samuel Rogers?
Yes, this is Mr. Rogers.
Hogan cleared his throat.
Mr. Rogers,
He said in a sharp official tone.
this is police headquarters. I am Simpson, Sergeant Simpson of the Detective Division.
Yes.
Came the reply.
The chief of police,
Hogan said.
has ordered me to get in touch with you. He's sending me out with one of our men to see you.
Am I in trouble of some kind?
Asked Mr. Rogers.
No, no, nothing like that. But I have something of importance to talk to you about.
Very well.
Said Mr. Rogers.
And Mr. Rogers,
Hogan continued.
please keep quiet about this. Don't say anything to anybody.
Hogan explained his idea to Burns. Within 10 minutes, Sergeant Simpson and Detective Johnson were speaking to Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was a small man. He was nervous, a badly frightened man. Hogan told Mr. Rogers the whole story. Mr. Rogers was delighted to be of help. Together he and Hogan dug up the suitcase. They took it into the living room and opened it. All the money was there, safe.
And now, Mr. Rogers,
Hogan announced in his best official manner.
Johnson and I must run along. The chief wants a report. We have to catch the rest of the robbers. I'll be in touch.
He picked up the suitcase and rose. Burns also rose. Mr. Rogers also rose up. The three men walked to the door. Mr. Rogers opened it.
Come on in, boys.
He said pleasantly, and in walked the three men in police uniform.
What does this mean, Mr. Rogers?
Asked Hogan.
It's quite simple.
Said Mr. Rogers.
I am the chief of police.
So, this engaging and amusing lesson ends here. Thank you.